Okay, so it's John Saboe from Far East Adventure Travel, and I've been talking about Siem Reap and Angkor Wat for the last 3 days. And today I'm going to talk about restaurants and dining in Siem Reap. And I spent 5 weeks, over 5 weeks in Cambodia in January and February, and I found that Siem Reap was one of the most pleasurable places to go out for lunch, dinner, or even breakfast. Because pretty much depending on where you stay, everything is within walking distance, which I thought was great. I mean, I ate at some great places in Phnom Penh, but the problem with Phnom Penh is because it's a much larger city. Everything's spread out more, so you're having to take a taxi or a tuk-tuk a lot of the times to get to some of the restaurants that you'd like to visit. Where Siem Reap, pretty much almost anywhere you can walk, and it's great. So. First off, the main observation I found about dining overall in some of these places in Cambodia was spending more money did not necessarily mean it was going to be that much better. And I found this in Siem Reap with some of the restaurants. Now, I'm not going to name the ones that, I wasn't super happy with. I'm only going to talk about the ones that I recommend and I think you should go to if you go to Siem Reap. So, but I did have a few experiences where I went to some of these places, and Lonely Planet is an awesome guide. I use it all the time. And there were some places in there I went to, and I thought, it's pretty good, but was it worth the extra money? I mean, if you're kind of doing a date thing, it's good because it's going to be a nicer place, so the environment is nicer, and the staff is all uniformed, and it's a little more professional that way. But the food quality overall wasn't that much better for paying, almost double. So that was kind of the main observation I found. Now there is one or two places in Siem Reap that I am going to recommend that are, for Siem Reap they're a bit of a splurge. I mean, for the West it's like nothing for a great night out, like a really great meal and a great experience. And the two places I'll talk about in a bit, I totally recommend that you spend the extra money. So first off, I love coffee, so let's talk about breakfast and coffee. So my favorite, at least one of my favorite places to go for breakfast was the Sister Sri Cafe. And it's run by a couple of Australian sisters. It's like an NGO style cafe, so they do training for Khmer staff. They give them English lessons as well. And so there's a really good positive atmosphere there in that way. And the food's just really quite good. And I found the breakfast was quite nice. They have good coffee there. And it's a nice spot close to the river. So that was one of my favorite breakfast spots. Just getting back to the coffee, I always find, especially in Southeast Asia, is like I'll have some great local coffees at some local shops, but if you really want a good consistent cup of coffee or an Americano or whatever your pleasure, go with the Italian brands. Like I would go to this one place, let me just grab the name here because I'll forget, Cafe Central in Siem Reap, and they were Ely servers, so the Ely coffee is just always good almost anywhere you go and have it because they'll have a good espresso machine, and it's just really good. I love going there for coffee all the time, and the food's pretty good too. The other coffee brand I like is I know it, but I got to look at my notes. Lavazza, of course, Lavazza. And there was a Mexican restaurant in Siem Reap called Viva that had some pretty good pancakes, and Lavazza coffee, the Americanos are really good there. So the Italian brands I find, like if you can find those anywhere in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and you just want to know you're going to get a really good cup of coffee, usually they won't let you down. The other place I liked for breakfast was Blue Pumpkin, just like if you want some baked goods or something. They have some set breakfasts there, mostly like Western style breakfast. And of course, there's lots of stalls you can go to and have a traditional Khmer, like some sort of like a pho or a noodle soup for breakfast. I don't eat meat, so it doesn't work for me. But I found a Vietnamese place there called Soup Dragon that I absolutely loved. I loved going there for breakfast and having the Vietnamese breakfast. And they had the Vietnamese coffee there, which is really good, nice and strong. So that was one of my favorite breakfast places as well, was Blue Dragon. And like I said, I think they had some Western dishes there, but I just take Vietnamese all the time because I just loved it. So for lunch and dinner places that, weren't, too expensive, like average, with a one or two beers or a glass of wine, under $10 US for like a salad and a main course, something like that. Khmer Kitchen, I thought, was really, really good, consistent food. And sometimes I had to look at the bill and go, did they make a mistake? And, did they forget to add something on here? And like I said, I thought just for value, it was really, really good. The other place I liked was Amok, and they had good fish amok. Fish amok is a traditional Khmer dish. It's fish baked in a banana leaf. And it was really, really good there, and I had that like everywhere in Cambodia. The other place I really liked for vegetarian is Chamkar. Awesome organic vegetables, ingredients, really inventive dishes, traditional style, but all vegetarian, and pretty reasonable as far as cost as well. The other place I really liked, I only went there for lunch, and they were constantly full and always booked up ahead of time. You had to book, when I was there in January, at least 5 days ahead to get a table for dinner. I really like this place called Haven, and again, it's another NGO style place. I think it's a Swiss guy that runs it, but it's really, really good. I spoke with him briefly. Good, consistent fusion food, not necessarily traditional, but the fusion style food, which, like I said, they did a really good job, good service, and good training for local Khmer people as well. Another good place is Le Tigre de Papier. I think that's a classic. It's on the Pub Street area of town, which is where a lot of the clubs are, but there's some decent restaurants around there as well. And so the two top places I really liked that were like kind of like splurges, but I mean, when I say splurges, like for Western prices, it's ridiculous to go out and spend less than 25 US or 30 US on like a 3-course dinner with 2 glasses of wine or 2 beers. It's ridiculous prices for the West. But in Southeast Asia, that's a good night out in a lot of these places. So Sugar Palm, I really liked. Beautiful wooden house. It's a little bit away from the center of town, so it's a little bit of a walk, but you can take a tuk-tuk as well. Traditional Khmer cuisine. They got a great bar there, great drinks, good service, and food was really good. My favorite dish there was the Kampong peppercorn. Kampot peppercorn in squid, and anything that I saw a Kampot peppercorn with, I would try because I just loved it. It was really good. And then the other place that I really, really liked, it's worth it for a 6-course dinner. It's 26 US dollars. It's in a beautiful old house in a suburb part of Siem Reap. The place is called Cuisine Wat Dominic. And in Southeast Asia, when you go out and you see a menu and they have a set for 5 or 6 courses, quite often they will deliver everything at once. It's not like a European or Western style set menu where they bring out one dish at a time. This is more like their tradition of family style serving. But with Cuisine Wat Dominic, they didn't do that. They brought every dish as in the style of Europe or the West, one at a time. Beautifully presented, amazing food, traditional flavors, ingredients, and for 26 US dollars. And they kind of did a custom menu for me because I don't eat meat and I stay away from dairy stuff as well. So they kind of did a mix match of 2 of their sets. And then they made a special dessert for me, and which I thought was just amazing service, and I wasn't charged anything more. And I had a couple of glasses of wine, and the total bill I think was maybe about 40 US dollars, which is for one person, which is just crazy. Like I said, when you're talking Western prices. So if you love food, if you're like a foodie and you haven't been to Southeast Asia, you must go, because this is a place where you can go out and have great meals and not have to spend like $200, to go out to have a 6-course dinner. You can get them for as little as 25. So those were my 2 best places, was Sugar Palm and Cuisine Wat Dominic. Like I said, I did eat at some other places that were good. Nothing wrong with them. I just didn't think they were super good value like these places and the other ones that I mentioned. So, like I said, overall, I love the dining options in Siem Reap. You can walk to most places. There's so many restaurants. There's so much stuff to try. I did actually, it doesn't sound like I went to a lot of places, but I was there for over 2 weeks. I went out almost to a different place every night for lunch and dinner. I did go back a couple of times to a couple of these places because I just like them so much. But there's a huge variety of food there. And of course you can do takeout stuff, and I would go to the fruit stands and buy fresh fruit, and it's really inexpensive. So lots of dining options. Beer and wine is ridiculous, like I said, compared to Western prices as well. So that's it. If you miss some of this stuff, don't worry, you can go to FarEastAdventureTravel.com. I have got all of these broadcasts on the website, as well as the notes, so you can kind of skim through if you just missed 1 or 2 of these restaurants. You can go back and you'll have what I think are some really good recommendations for Siem Reap. So again, I produce a video podcast called Far East Adventure Travel, available on iTunes. You can go onto the iTunes podcast section and just search Far East Adventure Travel. I will come up. Please subscribe. I put out a video at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, on different adventures in Asia, cities, cultural things. I'm just working on one today on Taiwan, where I am right now. I'm also finishing up this really cool adventure I did in northeast Cambodia to see the northern yellow-cheeked gibbon of the ape species. And I rode this motorbike on these dusty roads for a few hours. I was on the back of this bike with my guide. We got into this camp, and there's like military, paramilitary there, police military with machine guns, protecting the area, and there's rangers there, and spent the night there, and then woke up super early in the morning and went into the jungle in the dark and waited for the gibbons to sing, and then we got out and... Anyways, I'm putting that podcast together, and I hope you enjoy it. That should be out later in the week as well. So, Far East Adventure Travel, the podcast, also because right now Periscope is only for iOS. Anybody that's watching me right now can also get my magazine for free on the iTunes newsstand. It's called Far East Adventure Travel Magazine. Just go to the App Store, search Far East Adventure Travel, download the free app, and then you can subscribe for free. And I'm a photographer, so there's tons of images that you can look at, some videos that I've made within the magazine, and stories that I hope will inspire you to come to either Southeast Asia, East Asia, or South Asia and plan your next big adventure here. So for now, this is John Saboe for Far East Adventure Travel. Safe travels and namaste. Thank you.